Good morning and welcome to 59 Minutes. My name is Levi Kones. This morning we're going to be discussing matters insurance. So if you are not insured or you have no idea how to be insured or what insurance would entail, this particular show is for you. So call a friend, come closer, and let's talk about it. To join me in that conversation and to lay all things bare and to answer the questions as to why you need insurance is Dan THIONG'O. He is the CEO for MTN Insurance, which stands for Meet the Needs.
Yes, Meet the Needs.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana, Levi.
I really like that name, Meet the Needs Insurance.
Yeah, you know, insurance is one so-called complicated matter. And when we started way back in 2004, one of the biggest challenges was in helping our clientele understand insurance and also simplify it. Look at what their needs were without having to just push insurance down people's throats.
Yeah.
So look at what you really need, and we thought, why don't we run with this? So MTN
Those Meet the Needs. Tell me personally, from your own perspective, what did you see was one of the biggest needs that needed to be addressed?
The biggest problem is actually in understanding what one has been insured for, or what insurance they need for what reason. And of course, the other matter is in trying to engage and help the so-called average Kenyan appreciate insurance. So that appreciating that insurance is going to come back and sort you out, that has been the biggest handicap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people have that thing that it might not happen to me, so we are giving out money.
Yeah, a long time.
I'll
time
never
back,
benefit
yes.
from,
Yeah, some time back we were called, insurers are con men. The reasons were that probably somebody forgot how to, or didn't file their claim properly, or they didn't know what they needed to do when they suffered a claim. And by the time they were probably going to report it or try and seek compensation, it was too late. Simple thing like, say, life insurance. People pay premiums, then the policy lapses. Maybe they are unable to catch up with their installments, payments for life. And what happens is that policy could lapse. Then somebody remembers, wait a minute, I used to have a policy. I think I need that money back. But when you go, you find probably you can't access that cash. You may need to top up all the installments that you haven't been paying over the so many months. And when you look at how much you need to pay so that you can access, it becomes harder for you to try and access that. The whole matter was that at the point when one was signing up, they were not explained to properly what they need to do, and when they suffer challenges, what should they do to try and keep their policies running. So you find those are the matters where people come back and say they feel conned, and it's because probably they were never explained to on the areas and issues that could happen and how they can overcome that to try and for it to be useful and for them to benefit.
Yeah. So you come in to sort that out, to look into that nitty-gritty. But let's just start from the basic question.
Yes.
Who needs insurance?
We all need insurance. Everyone needs insurance. If you have a business, if you have a family, even if you're all by yourself, no partner or no children, you still need insurance, because insurance is what comes to help you when you come, when you get a financial risk, because what insurance does is to compensate you. Should you lose, say you fell sick. If you fall sick and you've been admitted in a hospital, you're going to spend so much money. You can imagine if you had saved 5 million shillings and then you've been admitted, these days of COVID, you've been admitted and you've blown like 2 million. If you did have insurance, that's 2 million out of pocket that insurance would never have cost you that much. Yeah, the way the premiums are.
The premiums, yeah.
So you'd find that insurance comes and bails you out, and you don't have to spend out of pocket. And if you did, it could be maybe something that, there are things which are not covered, but it could be something small that may not be that significant.
Yeah. There are people who look at themselves and they say, I'm okay, my body's healthy.
That's what we call a misconception.
I've never been sick.
When we
no one in our family has. Yeah.
We ask people to buy insurance, especially medical.
Yeah.
You find somebody saying, I've never fallen sick. And we tell them, you're exactly the kind of person who needs insurance. You've never fallen sick, so you don't know how bad it could get.
Yeah.
Us guys who are sitting on this other side looking at the kind of bills hospitals can generate, you can't believe that so many procedures and bills can run into millions. And this is on a daily basis, the kind of bills that are coming out of hospitals, clinics. So you find that the person who has never fallen sick is exactly the kind of person who needs to protect themselves. I mean, we look at how much most Kenyans spend on Friday and Saturday night, or look at how much they're spending on airtime, or look at somebody who doesn't want to buy medical insurance, but they are driving a nice car and they take comprehensive insurance on it, but not their own life.
On their car.
So your car definitely cannot be that important more than your life. Yes, because motor vehicles, yes, insurance makes a lot of sense, but there's also the medical insurance on the person. There's life insurance on your life that you need to consider. So a lot of all these things, you find that people tend to brush it off, yet it is something it's merely, purely financial planning. And once you get people to look at what's financial planning, it's just being ready that tomorrow I could have this emergency. I mean, you could be going about your business and get hit by a loose stone. You are healthy.
Just stray bullets. I mean, we're in that country.
Yeah, we are there. So you never know. You don't want to be the kind of person who now opens WhatsApp groups to ask people for Harambees. And I can tell you there's a lot of fatigue in that. Yeah?
In Harambee,
yeah, and you find, yes, for some reason when it's death, taona michango to people they're contributing.
Yeah.
Hospital bills, people are beginning to just lose.
Sadly, I think I know why. I think it's because when it's death, we know we are dealing with one thing.
Yeah.
A burial and it's over. When in hospital, we are not sure.
Yes.
Today you could be HDU, tomorrow you could be ICU.
Yes.
The following day could be an operation. It's a never-ending.
There you are. I remember now that you mentioned, somebody had mentioned to me that they saw, one of their friends had said, if I go to hospital and I'm in ICU, don't bother selling my land or property. That my family can benefit in, so don't try and sell that. If can't generate any money to pay my bills, wacha mwili ikae na hospitali. It's bad financial planning. It's bad financial planning, but we should never really get there whereby you're thinking, if this happened to me, simply just buy insurance and protect your family from any financial burden.
Yeah. Now let me ask, before I come and focus on two types of insurance, how vast are we talking in terms of insurance do you deal with?
Insurance is vast because we have specialized insurance for business. We have simplified insurance for individuals and families. We have insurance for SMEs. We have insurance for groups, for corporate schemes. There's special insurance even for probably what we call the most important person in a certain organization. We have something called Keyman's insurance, such that should anything happen to him, the business may not survive. So, you know, such things, it is so vast. There's marine insurance when you're importing stuff. There is all this general insurance for, you know, our usual fires, motor.
Yeah.
But most significant is even our lives. We need to insure them and take care of any, or even when you look at life insurance, it's not just me alone, yeah. But there is also that financial planning. I'm planning that my kids, when they are in uni, I'll have put in what we call endowment funds, that I'm putting in its insurance. But yes, there's a savings concept that allows me, by the time my child is in university, then the policy matures and I'm able to get some cash to now pay for college fees or even high school fees. Again, depending on where did I want my kids to go to school, in high school or in university. Is it, if it's high cost or what we call good schools and good universities, we know how much it is. So by the time I need to pay for, to have saved for like 10 years, how much am I paying on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis? And not even that, even retirement schemes, pensions, and you know, all these are tied together, and you'd find that it is something that requires for people to actually come in and appreciate what we are going to do, or what insurance can do. Yeah.
So for medical, you said very rightfully, you know, we don't know. You make a case, say, I don't know how sick I could get if I get. We are assured at some point in our lives we could get sick. I mean, we've seen what COVID has done.
Right.
And it's been an eye-opener for many people, although we also see that that COVID is not insurable in many cases. Now, I want you to speak to that just in this moment in time, because there are many people who have made some people shy off and say, hey, you mean I can have insurance and the pandemic can come and people can step aside from it?
That's correct. In the sense that, one, any policies that are underwritten by insurance companies, of course, will have specific exclusions, and part of it being a pandemic. And the reason is because a pandemic could wipe out any monies any insurance company had. So you'd find even the reinsurers for insurance companies will exclude pandemics. However, just to correct that position, here insurance companies are covering COVID. The regulator, that's IRA, did sit with insurance companies, and insurance companies agreed to pay COVID bills. And going forward, you'd find that any quotations that are being written out by insurance companies will include COVID cover. So you have a choice that you're going to buy one with COVID or one without. So choice is yours. In addition, there are standalone COVID insurance covers that you can buy that specifically to take care of COVID, nothing else.
Yeah.
So those are there. The matter with all this is that, one, people don't, you find we have people who come to us looking for medical insurance. And if it's not a corporate scheme, if it's an individual, one of the things we ask them is, why now? Why are they taking up insurance? And those who have been honest can sometimes tell you that, oh, you know, I went to hospital and I was told I need a certain procedure in another 3 to 4 months. Otherwise,
so they're just buffing.
So you find somebody is trying now to take advantage of the fact that insurance is there, and obviously it costs much less than what the actual bill would be. However, insurance companies are now smarter than that. The underwriting rules for buying insurance will, of course, have a waiting period for some cases. So somebody is not buying to just take advantage of insurance company, but we want them to buy for their own financial protection. You can buy for the last 5 years you've been buying insurance, you've never fallen sick. But there is the year 7 when you decide, I think I'm just wasting cash. That's the time Murphy's Law catches up with you, and then you fall sick and you didn't have insurance. So we tell guys, if we all bought insurance, maybe the premiums would be less, because sometimes premiums could be a hindrance in terms of just the amount of money you need to pay. As we get older, we have higher risks of falling sick, and you find, yes, the premiums for older people, say, they'll be banded by age, so the older it is, the more costs keeps going up because of the risk is higher. And that is not specific to this country, it is world over. Yeah.
So let's just take, for argument's sake, 20-year-old walks into your office.
Yes.
And says, I need insurance.
Right.
What are the options you present on the table?
We would
He's healthy, he's fine, there's no pre-existing condition.
Yes. 20-year-old, actually we advise them just take an inpatient plan because your risk is probably accident. Unless there are other underlying conditions, if they're healthy, nothing else, their risk is just probably accident. So we'll ask them to take an inpatient plan that, of course, would offer, again, 20-year-old, their lifestyle. Subaru boys, so need for speed.
You're covering lifestyle. So when you're doing risk assessment, you look at all those things.
You look at all those things so that you can understand where is their risk coming in, so that you give them the right information, the right plan for their age and lifestyle. Yeah.
Very interesting. And okay, what about the people who say, in terms of medical insurance, there's a perception that it's for, suit and tie guys. Like people watching us on TV are like, how anaweza kuwa na insurance.
Yes.
But
most of it is how it should be packaged, because the gaps are there. There are people who are not insured, they've not been put into the band. And what I mean by that is, if you go, for example, to say farmers, they have all these circles or certain groups that they coalesce and probably do business together. Yeah. Formally constituted groups. So you'd find sometimes those have not been approached in their groups, and the only way to get good deals for them is to actually appeal to the group that you guys need to put your farmers together, we need to talk to them about insurance, and we can give you good terms. And you find that if you leave the one farmer that you're approaching, they probably look at how much money they're making, maybe out of their tea or coffee, and it may not be as attractive. But if there were 20 of them, then it becomes easier to negotiate on good premiums, way much lower than it would have been for one person. And then they take that as a group. And then, of course, we look at their specific, where they're domiciled, where, what are the hospitals that we'd expect them to go to determine premiums, because we do have what is called Tier 1, Tier 2 hospitals. So our Tier 1, Nairobi, all these high-cost facilities, the ones in Nairobi, Mombasa, But the Tier 2, you'd find the mission hospitals, lower cost, lower in cost.
Middle-class hospitals.
Yes, and you'd find those would still work very well for such groups, and we'd be able to afford them reasonable enough premiums. Yeah. Yeah, because the whole idea is to, as long as you can get groups, then premiums will be affordable.
So as long as you can get groups. So you say it wouldn't be too expensive if you're
in a group, yes.
If you're in a group, you come together and you pitch.
Yes, we've seen a lot of chamas that are now seeking insurance for their members, and the reasons are that sometimes even where we are employed, we may not get enough insurance, and that a lot of people have experienced that you ran out of benefits. Yeah, your insurance scheme, the benefit lapsed, and you don't want to feel exposed. So you find that people who buy additional covers here and there.
Yeah. Just generally speaking, what percentage do you think of us are actually insured in this country?
It is the penetration. If you look at the statistics, it's at 2.4, I think. Yeah, it's gotten lower. The penetration is way much lower in comparison to other countries, and also the capability of how much of penetration that we can generate.
Wow.
So you find, say, if we have about 10 million Kenyans who are productive and earning an income, less than I think 1 million may not have formal insurance. As in about 1 million may have insurance. May have insurance.
So about a whooping 9.
And we are still
so like 1 out of every 10 people really could be the insured one. 9 out of 10 people.
Much less, because I'm looking at only 10 million.
Yeah. You only
working.
Get the demographic.
Yeah. So when you look at the rest of the 40 million Kenyans are also in their own coming out of pocket.
What's stopping us? Because by now, things have happened. I mean, averagely, I am in 3 WhatsApp groups right now.
Yeah.
For medical.
Right.
And we'll come and talk about life insurance. And on the average, you hear somebody has passed on and there's a medical bill. A lot of us are grappling with those issues in families, friends. Why is our uptake then slow on insurance?
The reasons are that, one, how it is probably marketed could make it look like it's for the ivory tower. 2, how it is how it needs to be paid for is another problem, in the sense that I'll give you an example. Medical insurance for all underwriters here is an upfront cover, so you have to pay your premium upfront. Now, sometimes that ability to pay upfront is not there. But if you break it down into installments, then it becomes manageable. So the matter is in trying to get some of the problems we have in uptake is actually payment. And the other bit is in the package. How expensive is it? So the moment, because we are very price sensitive as a country, the moment we able to package it in ways to pay, easier ways of payment, and make it inexpensive, then it begins to make sense. You'll be surprised even now. You see, NHIF are trying to bring on board everybody.
To bridge the gap, yes.
But you'd find we're still having people who even a simple insurance like NHIF, it's one thing said, at least as a bare minimum, please take that. Yeah, if you can't take up our private insurance, at least take NHIF. If you're in business and maybe, because sometimes you find people ignore the formal things that you're meant to do if you're in business, NSSF, NHIF, paying for all those. If you're alone in your shop, nobody takes that. You just register your business, and that's the most you do. Even formal banking systems, you find people struggle with. So when you're telling them now, insurance, NHIF, so this is where, again, we're lauding the current CEO of NHIF, because they are doing a lot in trying to bring more people into the fold. Yeah.
Because anything could happen.
Anything could happen, and the more we have more people on it, of course, the costs that NHIF incurs maybe could come down.
Right, we're going to take a break on that note. We're speaking to Dan THIONG'O on Matters Insurance. He's the CEO of MTN. We'll see you on the other side of this break. Don't go away.